Hey guys, it's M4J here. That was a really loud intro. Hey guys, M4J here, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 as Stevenage. I nearly forgot what series it was. I'm doing this really vain and arrogant thing at the moment of rewatching some of my old videos. Mainly to try and learn from my previous mistakes, but also to get inspiration for future videos. And if you are a fan of the channel, you will notice where that comes into play over the next few weeks, if it hasn't done already by the time this video goes out. As I always say, I do forget the timeline, particularly in this series, because I record so far ahead. Anyway, we're going to play a really fun game today. We've got our first game of the season. It's against Rochdale. It's away from home. We're in League One. We won the league last episode, as you know. And then, ignore all this. So we won the league by losing, so it was this game here against Portsmouth. You can see I then had a really entertaining game. I tried to rotate the squad and regretted it immediately because I went down 1-0 inside a minute, and then we equalised in the 14th minute with Godden, and we went 2-1 down in the 22nd minute. We equalised in the 41st minute by the looks of it, and then we went 3-2 up, again by the looks of it, with Godden, and then we scored again to make it 3-1? 4-1. 4-2. 4-2. That's the one. Oh, hang on. No. I'm not even going to bother trying to remember who scored when, because it's so many goals. But we ended up winning 6-5. That's the main thing. Very last minute goal from Mohite in the 85th minute. We then finished the season with a 1-1 draw, a 1-0 win, a 0-0 draw, a 5-3 win against Chesterfield. This was also a good game. 2 goals from Colley, 2 from Godden, 1 from Barnby. We then won 5-1 against Bristol Rovers. We lost 5-1 against Bristol Rovers. We lost to them twice last season, which wasn't very good. And then we won 2-0 against Crawley to finish the season. There's been some outgoings, there's been some ingoings. Player of the season last season for us was actually Alex Samuel, which I was incredibly surprised by. Again, ignore all this, what you're seeing right now, because it's full of spoilers. Samuel scored 21 goals in 42 games. He did get 21 assists, and he won man of the match 7 times. Godden got the golden boot, scored the most goals. He scored 42 goals, I think, in 46 games, or however many games he played. What surprised me was, this is the league goal scoring record. Barnby got second. He actually scored more goals than any striker in the league apart from Godden. He scored 28 goals in 43 games last season. And while we're here, we might as well check the big man himself. Matt Godden, he scored 41 goals in 42 games. There you go. He's an absolute animal. Absolute animal. 150 goals in 273 appearances. Beast is the way I would describe that. We did do some transfers, as I say. There's the outs. Danny Lloyd. We sold him to Fleetwood for 30,000, which has to be daylight robbery, really, because there's no way he's worth 30,000. I think he played twice for us all season. Tyrone Mears left on a free to go to New York Cosmos. Jamie Jealous has gone out on loan to Hampton and Richmond. Ali Omar has gone out to Maidenhead, and I think Claudio Afuso is about to go out on loan as well. Excuse me. Incomings, we've had a few. We've got a lot of loans. Jamie Sterry, right back, joined us on loan, because at the time Reece James was refusing to renew his loan with us. That's now changed. He has in fact joined us on loan. So we've got 2 right backs on loan. Lee Angol, we signed him from Mansfield on a free transfer. I think it was the season before last, actually. First season of this series. I tried to sign him. Got him on a free. He's not the best player in the world, but you know, he can fill a void in the squad. Alex Baptiste used to play for Blackpool in the Premier League. I think he played for QPR in the Premier League as well. I'm not 100% sure. He's joined us on a free. We loaned Freddie Woodman, goalkeeper, from Newcastle. Ben Wilmot was sold to Burnley. This was very cunning, I think, from me. Because we had a sell-on when he joined Sheffield United, they then sold him to Burnley for 2 and a bit times what they signed him from us for. So we got a percentage of that, and then it turned out Burnley weren't actually looking to put him in the first team squad straight away. So I put in a loan bid for him, it was accepted, and he joined us. So, you know, a season after leaving, Wilmot's back. He is only back for the season, so, you know, don't hang your hopes on him staying. But, there you go, 325,000 Sheffield United sold him for. And we got, I think it's 15% of that. Pretty good. Ethan Ampadu, the youngster who used to play for Exeter, now plays for Chelsea. He's played for them a few times in the FA Cup this season in real life. He's joined us on loan. Oscar Threkheld, another right back who can also play midfield. He's joined on loan from Blackburn. We then signed Joe Hardy and Jay O'Shea on free transfers. Hardy is a fringe player at best. He can play as a right midfielder and as a striker. O'Shea is probably a first team player. He had a spell on loan at Stevenage a few years ago. I think it's 2011 he played for us. I think he played like 2 games, scored 1 goal, and then went back. In fact, let's find out. Yeah, 2010-11. Played once, didn't score. Okay, didn't score. I think he actually. I'm trying to remember if it was him or Josh Walker. We played Wimbledon in the FA Cup, and whoever it was took a free kick and it deflected in. And I think it went down as an own goal in the end, but everyone thinks it should have been the player who took the free kick's goal. I'm starting to think, the more I'm talking about it, I think it was actually Josh Walker. But still, Jay O'Shea played a game for us. So this was during the Wesley days, where when the team sheet was announced, we'd see like 2 new names on the list that we'd never seen before, and then the club would tweet out the news that we'd signed them. They'd play 1 game, and then we'd never see them again. And like 4 months later, the club will tweet that they've left on a free to go to some other club somewhere. That's why it always surprises me now when the club actually tweet that we've signed a player, because really, first of all, we've signed someone. It's always exciting when a club signs a player. Second of all, the club are actually tweeting it before the lineup is announced and their name is in it, so that's quite nice. Anyway, George McEachran, he's joined us on loan from Chelsea, as has Miguel Meneses. He's a striker, looks pretty good. We've also got Juan Camilo Baquera on loan from Watford. He's also a striker, again, looks pretty good. Ashley Eastham is a centre-back. He's signed on a free transfer. He used to play for Colchester, I believe, and was released. Reece James, as I said, has joined on loan. And Charlie Wakefield, not the Charlie Wakefield that we had before. I think that was a Wakefield that we had before. Will it be on here? Should be. He came from Chelsea. Maybe not then. Maybe not. It's actually funny when I look back and see some of these players that we had and how we got rid of them. There you go. We sold Wilmot for 135,000, so it's almost 3 times the amount that Burnley paid, and now we've got him back on loan. So, hey, yeah, his name's not on here, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we've strengthened the team considerably. Now the only downside is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 loan players. Now we can't have 10 loan players in the squad. We can have a maximum of 6. We have still got a lot of players. In fact, you can see here we've still got a lot of players who finished the season with us last season. So there's plenty of room in the squad to jiggle around and hopefully stay within the 6. We've got 3 in the team at the moment: De Silva, Woodman, and Gillespie. I might put. Already the trials begin. Well, Martin's going to play there. So if I put Baptiste on the bench, that's still 3. Good. Sterry. We'll start Sterry at right back. That takes us up to 4. That also means we've got a first team squad finished. So now we just need a sub midfielder. I'm going to use McEachran. That takes us up to 5. I'm going to take out Giorgio. Or am I? I mean, he's 2.5 star. He's still pretty decent, considering. I mean, I might put Threkheld in. Now take us up to 6. Or, I mean, you can't really not put in a player of this quality. Meneses, and he does play as a. Well, his best role is as a winger. I think, though. Yeah, I mean, he can play as anything but a defence forward or complete forward. So he's pretty good to have on the bench. Pretty damn good. I'm going to put him in instead of Franks. Okay, you might also notice some new squad numbers. So Sterry's number 2. Eastham hasn't been given a number yet. I think number 6 is available though, so he'll get that. Barmby swapped from 7 to 11. I'll tell you why in a second. Woodman's 31, Baptista's 5, McEachran's 16. Benitez hasn't been given a number yet. The reason Barmby swapped is because J. O'Shea likes the number 7, so I gave him the number 7. Simple as. Barmby didn't have a preference, so I let him be number 11. Oh, is it a maximum of 5? It's a maximum of 5, Mark. Idiot. In that case, who did I have where? Who do I want to take out? I want to take out... I think I might take out Gillespie. And I will put... Oh, have I got anyone else that I could put on the bench if I do that, though? What about the first team? De Silva, Sterry... You know, can't take any of them out. I really want Meneses on the bench. So... It's got to be McEachran or Gillespie. I think it's going to have to be Gillespie who I take out. But I've got no... Oh, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Might have to put some youth. We're going to be using youth a lot this season anyway. Because it is one of the promises that I made to the board. They did offer me a new contract during the closed season. Oh, there you go. O'Shea. Put O'Shea in instead of McEachran. There you go. Problem solved. Yeah. They offered me a new contract at the end of the season. One of the things in that was to develop youth. So they've improved the youth recruitment, because I asked them to. They've also improved... Well, they're going to be improving youth facilities, hopefully. Although I can see that being cancelled, because I think it was supposed to have already started. Oh no, it's in progress. So it started on the 5th. It's supposed to be completed by the 5th of November. Ah, bonfire night. Perfect. One more thing. I showed you this already, technically. But here's my pre-season. We played a lot of pre-season friendlies. I basically, every day that I could have a friendly, I set one. We brought in loads of players on trial. Some of which have joined us. J. O'Shea was one of them. Some of these players haven't. There are loads of players that I brought in on trial, then approached to sign a contract, and then another club came in and stole them away. Just a little bit annoying. These things here, the League and the Jeffries Cup, I couldn't think of any of the names. The League 1, there was supposed to be... I was going to do lots of different leagues for pre-season, just to make it a bit more competitive and a bit more interesting and attract some bigger names to take part. As you can see, the League 1, I managed to get Burnley, Cardiff and Bristol involved. And we won all 3 games and we won the league. And I really don't know how that happened. Samuel scored a hat-trick there. Godden and Samuel scored there. Godden scored there. Quite impressed. We then played Crystal Palace in the semi-final of the Jeffries Cup, and we won that one as well with a goal from Barmby. But then we lost 2-0 to Spurs in the final. And don't think these teams were playing reserve players, because I checked the lineup. The Arsenal game, for example, 4-4. Yes, okay, they were 4-0 up at half-time, and they did make some substitutions in the second half, and then we did score 4 goals. However, if I show you what those substitutions were, we will get into the game in a minute, I promise. So you can see they started with Cech, Bellerin, Mustafi, Keane, Gomez, Nelson, Sola, Ziyech, Iwobi, Silva and Lacazette. And then they brought on Koscielny, Reed, Isaac, Ramsey, Rain Adelaide, Rodrigo Caio, Monreal and Welbeck. So they still had a pretty decent team out there. And you look at our starting 11, and then you look at the 11 that came on at half-time, and we managed to score 4 goals against them. In fact, how did we manage to score 4 goals? Oh, because they went all subbed at half-time. Well, there you go then. There you go then. Right, we're going to get into the game. Otherwise, I'll be talking for hours about all of this. Right, squad numbers will have to be given to 2 players. We'll give Eastham the number 6, and Meneses, I don't want to give him the number 9, because I think a striker should get number 9. I might give him 20. And we'll see how we do in this game. Submit. There we go. I'm pretty happy with the squad. There were some players last season who I felt didn't get a chance because they were loan players and I couldn't fit them in the team, which is a little bit of a shame. But, you know, last season I was pretty happy with the team. We won by, I think it was 30 points in the end of the league, so we walked that. So even though the overall star rating of the squad has decreased this season, as it always does when you're promoted, I still feel pretty confident, mostly because we are still playing the majority of the starting 11. I mean, out of the starting players that we've got at the moment, only Eastham and Sterry weren't in the squad last season. And on the bench, Woodman, Baptiste, O'Shea and Meneses. So what's that? That's 6 players overall out of a squad of 18. Actually, that's quite a lot. That's a third. You know, 2/3 of the team were the same team that played last season. And then if you go into the reserves, there are more new players that we can bring in if necessary. The main thing is I've got cover in most positions now. That's a really good ball, which Godden has run onto. Can he finish it? Saved. That's unfortunate. I think he needed a toe poke it. Looked like he hit it with his instep. Right, Martin's corner. That was awful. Come on, Martin, you're better than that. Why is there only one player back? Don't foul him, don't foul him. Good challenge to Silva. Great play. Right, let me just check that I have still got this on. Key. Yes, good. Because I watched the trialist game. The England trialist game, and I had that on full match. So I just want to make sure I did remember to change it back. I should also say those pre-season friendlies, all of them, I didn't manage a single one of them. I let my assistant do that. I was busy strengthening the squad. The assistant was, I think it's still Glenn Roeder actually, was managing the team in those friendlies. Looking at the stats, we've come into this quite nicely. I mean, I've said to the team in the pre-season meeting, which they weren't too happy with because they thought I wasn't being ambitious enough, but I said we're aiming to finish mid-table. And I'm looking at some of the teams that are in this league with us. Fulham, very good place to start. Blackpool, Charlton, Wimbledon, Gillingham, Ipswich are in this league. Portsmouth, who else? Sheffield United, back in the league. Cardiff, how the hell did that happen? So, you know, I think mid-table is very ambitious. Saving relegation is the real target in my head. And it's not even like I'm deliberately aiming low and hoping to achieve high. That is literally my target, just to not be relegated. Because I know that a lot of these players aren't really good enough for League One football. And the wage budget went up considerably, which is why I was able to afford players like Sterry, who's actually a very, very good young right back in real life. That's a cracking cross. Shame Godden wasn't on the end of it. But my transfer budget was still 0. And I did sell Lloyd for 30,000. That took the transfer budget up to, I think it was 45,000. What am I talking about? Up to 20,000. And then I think I did some other deals. I can't remember exactly what. But I tried to sign Glenn Ray, who's a centre back from Luton. Couldn't afford him. They wanted, I think it was 325,000 for him, which is the same as what Wilmot cost. And I couldn't afford it. I had to pull out the deal. And then I tried to sign a left back from a non-league club because his ability wasn't great, but his potential was really, really good. And I thought it would be perfect to have him as an actual owned player rather than a loan player. So if Martin gets injured, I can bring in this other guy without affecting the loan quota too much. And they wanted, I think it was 30,000 for him. And again, I had to pull out the deal. Couldn't afford it. The problem is, when I sign players on free transfers, which I do sometimes, I always try to make sure that I'm not paying a signing fee and I'm not paying an agent's fee. But sometimes they insist that you pay one or both of those fees. And that was eating into my transfer budget. Because I didn't have a transfer budget, it was eating into my wage budget. So even when it came up with, you do not have funds to complete this transfer, instead of having the option to adjust budget, it just had delay by a week, yes or no. And no, because even if I wait a week, I'm still not going to have the money. The pre-season friendlies, it's one of the reasons why I had so many of them. Because we actually went from minus £700,000 in the bank to, you might have seen it, I think it was at the start of the episode just now when I showed it, plus 200,000. We sold a couple of players, which added to that. But most of it's from gate receipts. We also got a little bit of TV revenue because we played Arsenal, which was on TV. And I think the Derby game as well, for some reason, was on TV. But it was all about raising money. It was about getting some minutes into the players as well, of course. But predominantly it was about the money. All about the dollar, as it were. And that 200,000 is probably going to last us about 3 months before we spend it all. I haven't even looked at the projections. I'm not brave enough. I don't think we're going to be in the black at the end of the season. Going to make a quick sub. Godden off. Meneses on. Meneses. I think it's Meneses. He's Spanish. Or he's got a Spanish name at least. So I think it's Meneses. Alright, Martin throws it to De Silva, who was dispossessed, but he's done really well to win it back. Finds Beautyman, Meneses, Samuel. Oh, side knitting. Unlucky. Hancock's playing really well, actually, 6.8. De Silva's 7, even though... I mean, it wasn't his fault, actually. I'm not going to be harsh and say it was his fault. He lost the ball there. It really wasn't his fault. Poor throw by Martin. Who, if I had another left-back, I think Martin would be on the bench right now. I could play Gillespie at left-back, I suppose. See how well he does. That might be a risk. Right, Barnby is the next player coming off. And I'm going to put on... Well, I nearly went to put on O'Shea then. But I think I'm going to put on Giorgio instead. Who could still end up being a really good player for us. He didn't get much of a look in last season because Barnby was on fire. And also because Barnby didn't get injured. That's the main reason, really, is he just didn't get injured. If he had have done, then, you know, Giorgio would have come in. But he just didn't get injured. There's not much else I can say about that, really. I think he said he played 42, 43 games. So he's only injured for 3 or 4 matches last season. So that's what I like about when you get a good squad, that not only have they got good ability, but they've also got good injury resilience. Right, that should be full time. 0-0 draw. There we go. I was about to say, oh, might have time for one more attack, but no. No. Referee, I think, was just waiting to see who won the header. So there, guys, one man of the match, Harrison McGahey. Our player of the match was Eastham, who I thought actually had a very good debut, 7.6. Barnby was our worst player, 6.3. But then they had a guy who got a 6.1, so could be worse. How can you... I mean, I know this is possible, because I've set up players to do this in the past as well, but he can play left back, left midfield, attacking centre midfield, and striker. You couldn't get a more binary opposition player in terms of the positions they can actually play in. That's incredible. That is incredible. Right, I'm going to put a cut here. We are going to play 2 games this episode. It's 22 minutes already, so it's going to be a long one. But I've just noticed on the schedule, our next game, competitive game at least, is against Cardiff in the Carabao Cup. So I am going to put a cut here. I'm probably going to get a couple more signings sorted if possible. These are all players I tried to sign. There's so many players. I think at one point I had 20 players that I was trying to bring in on loan. I wasn't intending to bring them all in, but it was just to see who was interested. Bring them in and then see if they are good enough to play or not. But, you know, Declan Rice, Tony Martinez. In fact, if I go on here, maybe it won't show me them all. There's some here anyway. Mason Mount, Cameron Borthwick Jackson. This is the left back I tried to sign. How much was it? 6,000, rising to 46. I couldn't afford it. Glenn Ray isn't even on here. It was a lot of money. To be fair, it was a lot of money, but still. Right, we'll have a quick look to see who has got expired contracts. Actually, yeah, Miles Kenlock. He's a left back who's available. Let's see if I could bring him in. Alright, anyway, yes, put a cut in here. I'll be back in just a second with the second game of this episode. Alright, we are back. We are ready for the second game of this episode. We're playing Cardiff. I'm not going to talk too much. We're going to pretty much jump straight in. There are no limits on loan players though, and we have just confirmed the signing of Sean Longstaff. So he's going on the bench. He's not ready to start this game. I think that's it actually. That's the only real change I'm going to make. I think the rest of these guys, they've earned their right to play. We're going to go into this. We're going to give Longstaff the number 18, I think. I always find it difficult with squad numbers because I'm a traditionalist when it comes to squad numbers. So 1 is always a goalkeeper, 2's the right back, 3's the left back. I don't like centre midfielders being 4 though. I do prefer centre backs being 4. So 4, 5 and 6 would be centre backs, but I always do... If I have someone who can play centre back and also left back, they would be more likely to get the number 6 or the number 4. And then if someone can play centre back or right back, they'll get number 5. 7 is always the right midfielder, Although in this case it's Jay O'Shea who can play right midfield, but he also plays in the centre. 8 is always a centre midfielder, Beautyman, perfect. 9 is always a striker. 10 is always the player who plays behind the striker. So, I mean, Hancock, I would have given the number 10 if we'd not had Kennedy in the team anymore, but because we've still got Kennedy. In fact, where is Kennedy? He should be in the squad, really. But that'll get number 10, and then 11 is left midfield, which Barnby now has. It really bugged me last season that Barnby had number 7, but because when I gave him the number 7 was the only one available, he just got that number, and then he kept it last season. 12 tends to be the sub-keeper, but I have given it to Boro for this season. 13 is the number I've given, I think it's Woodman who has got that number actually, it might be Norris. And then once you get to like 14, 15, 16 it does get tricky. I have given, who was it? Sterry's got number 2. There is another player who can also play right back who I've given the number 25 to. And I think that's just because Ronnie Henry wears 25 in real life and he can play centre back and right back. And it's always stuck in my head that that's a good number for a centre back / right back. But yeah, squad numbers, I say I'm a traditionalist, but there are some where I do quite like them. Steamage were the only team, I think, in the Football League at the time that had a number 4 who was playing up front in Darius Charles. And then 2 years later we had a number 9 who was playing at centre back, which was also Darius Charles. I'm not quite sure why those decisions were made to change his squad number and then change his position at the same time, but there you go. Anyway, let's talk about this game. I didn't really talk about the last game much while it was playing out because I was too busy explaining other stuff. Let's talk about this game. So we're playing Cardiff in the League Cup, Carabao Cup. Might as well use its proper name. Cardiff got a pretty good team. They got Aaron Lennon, who, the fact he's still going on this game is incredible, but I know for a fact he'll still run rings around my defence. They got, is it Connor McElhaney, who used to play for Everton. I think he played for Oldham for a while, might still do in real life. Plays for Cardiff now. Trying to remember who else they had in their team. Might check very quickly actually. Right, so they got Ben Amos, who's not playing in goal. They got Adrian in goal. Oh my god. We're screwed. Sol Bamba, they still got him. Lewis Gibson, Callum Patterson, Matthew Connolly, Jordan Much, Josh Brownhill, Aaron Lennon, Anthony Pilkington, Connor McElhaney, and Sabala. They've still got Ward up front. They've still got Bogle up front. They've still got Lee Peltier, although he is injured at the moment, so he's not playing today. Ashley Richards as well. Darbo. This is the guy who used to play for Man City. I think he is. Anyway, back to the game. They got a good team. That's the point I was making. They got a very good team, so we got to be on our guard. They've had some good chances already, although we've had the lion's share of chances. We've also had the lion's share of possession, which is quite nice. I didn't actually check what league Cardiff were in then. I'm sure you guys saw just then. So, I don't want to worry about that sort of thing. No, I don't need to worry about what league they're in. I just need to worry about beating them. Hancock's not playing so well this game. However, Barnby is. So it's a bit of a reversal. Oh my god. Hancock. Bit of a reversal from last game, I was about to say. I know it's a graphics thing. I know you wouldn't have actually done that in real life. But it really did look like he just stopped the ball and then ran away from it. Ooh, that's a tricky one. Eastham did well to leave that actually, because that's how own goals get scored, from crosses like that across the face of goal. Very, very dangerous. Right, we still had the majority of shots. I've just noticed Barnby's picked up an injury as well. That's not good. After me saying before that he's not very injury prone. He's on the ball now. Plays it out to Martin. Good first touch. Whips it in. Ooh. Penalty. Foul on Godden. I was about to say the keeper spilled it, but penalty. Godden will take. I will have a look at set piece takers. I'll also have a look at set pieces actually to find out why there was no one back for that corner. Godden takes it, saved, and Adrian's got the rebound. Adrian's good at saving penalties, although that was a really weak attempt from Godden. He just kicked it straight down the middle essentially. Adrian really should have caught that, if I'm being hypercritical. Alright, Barnby off. I'm also going to put Baptiste on for Sterry. I'm going to keep an eye on Martin. He's doing okay for now. And eventually I'll bring Hancock off and I'll give O'Shea his debut. See what he can do. I was actually quite surprised with Jay O'Shea because, as I say, I only saw him play once for Stevenage and then never saw him again. Also didn't know where he went. I was sort of vaguely aware of what he was doing, but it's one of those things where, as I say, when Wesley used to just bring a player in, play them once and release them, it was essentially, instead of giving them trials like most clubs do, he signed them on short-term deals. Oh, that's a poor goal to concede. He'd sign them on short-term deals, play them in a game, and like an actual game, and see how they do. And if they're not good enough, he just waits for the contract to expire and then they leave. I wouldn't recommend that in real life. If I'm honest, I would not recommend that. Yes. But yeah, I wasn't that aware of where O'Shea was. So when I saw his name crop up, I was like, oh, that's funny. I'll give him a scout, maybe give him a trial, because he was a free agent. And then brought him in and it came up saying 3.5 star. In fact, I think it was 4 star when I brought him in. I was like, wow, okay, I'm signing this guy. And we'll see how he does. You know, he's on the pitch now. Beautyman on the ball. Good pass out wide to Baptiste. Good control. He's whipped it. Straight into the hands of Adrian. We do too many crosses like that. Our crosses completed is really low, 13%. Because we keep putting it straight into the keeper's hands, which is not very efficient. You certainly don't score by doing that. King with a good header. O'Shea didn't challenge for that. Samuel on the ball into Beautyman. Finds O'Shea. That's a good pass to Giorgio. Corner. The whistle went before he hit it to signal the corner. I thought it might have been for offside, but no. Martin with the ball in. That's a much better ball. Was still headed clear. Godden now. Oh, come on, Matt. That's really selfish. Right, pause. Tactics. We're going long ball. Go route 1. Take more risks. Duh. We could do with the money from a decent cup run, either in this or the FA Cup. That's easy for Baptiste. Said he was racing against someone for the ball. I didn't see anyone else. That guy that scored, actually, Sabala, it said. Samuel crosses it in. Oh, I think it ricocheted off the defender. Godden could have got a touch. Pilkington with the clearance. Makaleni. He finds Sabala. Easton's just left him there. Shot wide. Okay. And breathe. You know, when it's still 1-0, there's every chance we can get back into this. We've had 15 shots, 7 on target. Just haven't really troubled Adrian. 3 clear-cut chances. And time is very slowly ticking away. And I'm starting to get a little bit worried that maybe we're not going to have another chance in this game. There we go. Martin, corner. It's another poor one. And he's not got the energy to get that either, so Darbo's got a free run now. Fryer came up for that too. Oh boy. Okay. It's gone wide. We're okay. We're okay. We can relax. He was a bit of a selfish player there, Darbo. Decided to have the shot. It's going to be full time, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it was a stunning strike. I can't even remember it, to be honest. Godden 5.9, missed penalty. That's what did it. That's what did it. Missed penalty. If we'd have buried that, we'd have been alright. But there you go. I feel pretty confident though. I mean, that was Cardiff. Cardiff are in League One. Oh boy. Okay. Maybe we're in trouble after all. I was about to say they're in the Championship, so we don't have to worry. But no. They're in League One. Oh boy, we're in trouble. I'm gonna have to look at strengthening the squad. Kenlock hasn't been confirmed yet. If he does, I might put him in as first choice left back. Now this guy, Czech Toure, I really want to sign him. Look at his stats. He's incredible. And he's actually interested in joining us. He won't join us now because we can't afford his wages. I think he wants like 5,000 a week or something. We can only offer 1,400 a week. But as part of his contract, he wanted an £8 million release clause. And I really would have agreed to it had it not been for the fact that he wouldn't have have applied, or he wouldn't have been able to get a work permit, so I wouldn't have been able to play him. So then I'm going on the assumption of, okay, that's £8 million that I've got sitting in my squad. If a team comes in and buys him straight off me, fine. You know, I'll sell him for £5 million if I have to. That's still a profit of like £3 million once you take all the other expenses out. And I'm being very, very, very lenient there. It'll probably be closer to £5 million still. But it's that, what if no one wants him? And then I'm paying someone £5,000 a week to not play football. And that's a bit too much of a risk for my liking. But if you look here, he's by far our best centre midfielder if he was to sign. Left midfielder, yep, he's the best at that. And striker, yeah, he's pretty much the best at that too. When I first saw him, it was 3-star. I think it's gone down a bit. But his finishing's 10, which is still pretty good. Free kick taking is 16, which is incredibly good. Technique, 17. Passing, 14. Vision, 17. He's pacey. He's got good acceleration. He's got good balance. He's got good fitness and stamina and strength. Oh, he's a footballer's wet dream. I'm telling you. Football manager player's wet dream, that's for sure. I probably shouldn't be using that term, but there you go. Right, I'm going to end the episode here, guys. So, a bit disappointing that we went out in the cup at the first time of asking. First time of asking, is that the right term? Probably not. You know what I mean. Might put something different here. Training, maybe? No, I've already got training. Team stats, already had that. Injuries. No. I'll do that off camera. It's totally not important right now. Alright, so with that, we're going to end the episode. I'm going to play the Checker Trade trophies off camera. I'm going to play predominantly the most of this league off camera. I think the FA Cup first round is when we'll come back. Just so we can skim through this season. If things get a bit dicey towards the end of this season, like if we're fighting relegation or even if we're charging for the playoffs, you never know, then of course I'll do more regular episodes. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes. That's not right. Drop some comments down below with ideas for tactics, signings and staff additions. That's what I meant to say. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I'm getting really good at these outros apart from the mistakes. I will see you soon.